Don't degrade the champion at any time. A man in my position could never afford to look ridiculous. Do you understand that?
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning.
Hello everybody, welcome to Chronicles on Tape. I am your host, Joey Lee, aka Sticky Diljo. We have our regular, podcaster, Yuta here.
Hello.
And back for the second week in a row is DPK David.
Hello.
Today we're going to kind of get into some interesting topics because we're going to talk about something that hasn't been talked about ever. And I mean, I guess it'd just be nice to hear about it straight from Yuta's mouth and mind, I guess. We're going to talk about how his time attack Civic never got finished and all that good stuff and everything surrounding it. So where should we start? Oh, actually, let me add that we tried doing this once before and it was a pretty crazy podcast, and then when I was saving it, it totally crashed. So
It wasn't that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was like almost 2 hours long too, which is kind of a problem. So
Really?
yeah, it just wouldn't save. It crashed the moment we tried to save it. So hopefully everything works out today. So
We'll keep this one more reasonable in length and, I guess, I don't know.
Mood.
Intensity?
Yeah. So let's head back into time a couple years ago. What has it been, like 2 years now?
Has it been that long already?
Oh, since the car didn't get done? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been about 2
Yeah,
years.
it's been about 2 years.
We're coming up on 2 years because it didn't get done just in time
'cause
for
you
your
took
meet.
the EG last year. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like
It's
it's
been
just
2
yesterday.
years.
Yeah.
I guess in that case, the story starts about 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
When I decided that I kind of wanted to, really give the whole time attack thing a shot. And naturally, I guess just being the slightly greatly neurotic person that I am, I decided that was going to be like my main focus in life. And the thing about racing is that it requires one thing more than anything else, and that's financial stability. And that is the one thing that I have the least of. So
I mean, it's stable. It's just
stably
Yeah.
non-existent. It's been consistently non-existent since I was born.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought, whatever, I could at least try. So started driving a lot for practice. Ended up working with Amir for a open track day organization, basically what I would instruct, and in exchange for my time as an instructor, they would let me drive my own car for practice for really cheap. So that went on, and
By instruct, you mean like be in the car with the drivers and stuff, or would you?
yeah. So like if somebody's like there for like their first time, never driven on a track before, and they need they would feel more comfortable with somebody in the car with them to show them, just help them develop as a driver, because the first day, honestly, you learn a lot, and to kind of organize that learning process and also make sure you're not doing anything unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
it's good for two reasons: because you're teaching someone something that they should be able to do properly, and you're also seeing if there's something that they are doing that they should not be doing, and in turn being unsafe on the track that you also want to be tracking on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so did that for a couple of years while competing at like smaller events here and there. Did FF Battle a couple times, Super Streets front wheel drive shootout thing, and did Super Lap a couple times. Never really won anything. And then I managed to con Joey into coming on board and covering everything with his, I guess, media reach. We actually started to work with a few different companies here and there. And the whole, I guess, the effort started to grow exponentially at that point. And
I remember you took me out to dinner to talk to me about it, like it was like a serious
no, I didn't even take you out
business
to dinner.
proposal. You took me to VCD Tofu House.
No, that was after.
Oh.
No, I was like, hey, I'm coming to your shop, because that was your shop. I wasn't even there yet.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm coming to your shop. I want to talk to you about
I
something.
mean, my thing is that Yuta's like good about that. I mean, if you want to propose something to someone, whether it be your friend or someone you talk to all the time, like, yo, let's sit down and really talk about this. It shows you're serious about it.
Mm.
That's true. I guess to this day, I still send David like business emails and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, David, how are you?
Yeah.
I hope all is well.
Yeah. I'm good with that. It's funny when Yuta call the shop or whatever.
Mm.
He's just always like, hi, David, this is Yuta calling from, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? And then we'll have this whole conversation. I'll get off the phone, and like whoever's next to me will be like, who's that? Oh, it's Yuta. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. It's always funny.
It's like, yeah, I need I mean, like,
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know. I guess work is work. You get into a
Yeah.
certain like mindset when you get to work, and then you kind of stay in that until afterwards. And I don't know. Maybe it's just part of my weirdness. At a certain point, it just became apparent that the car was never going to be competitive unless we made some serious changes to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go with a K Series turbo and run like enormous tires
Mm-hmm.
and bigger aero. So that's when we tore the car down. So at this point, I was still working with Koyorad, which I am still today. Koyo Radiators was actually the first company I started working with, coming up on 9 years ago now. So they were obviously a large part of it. And then we had Joey as the entire media side of it. Hybrid Racing came on board, supplied pretty much everything that you could possibly need for a K-Series. Hasport provided mounts, and
You
and then,
basically just needed me to facilitate like connections to certain companies.
yeah, there's certain Hybrid Racing, Hasport, for example. Joey had a much better relationship. I didn't know them at all actually at that point.
Yeah.
So that really helped out. And then Yasu, who when he was still at Tactical Art, decided to supply the suspension for the car. So we kind of formulated a plan. We would be considering our lack of budget. We decided to go with pretty much a stock K24 out of an Accord Element, whatever. Throw a 6-speed K20 A2 trans on it, and probably a used turbo, and just make 350 to 400 horsepower and see what we could do with that and go from there. So we decided to maximize grip in the form of aero, which actually Amir helped out a lot with. And then I decided to do the one thing that I seem to be able to do somewhat consistently, is to put big ass wheels on cars. So
Like custom fenders and everything, right?
yeah, made like the custom front end, and
There was a lot of tire.
Yeah.
it was a 285.
I don't think people realize that. Like, sometimes I think people think that you put those fenders on there just so that you can run this crazy big wheel, just because it was like a 3-piece wheel that was going to have a big lip or something. But in reality, yeah, that's obviously, it's cool, but you had a 285 tire on a 90 EK Civic sedan chassis,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think back when people were trying to put crazy body kits and big ass wheels on their car, were they putting wheels that big on the front of a Civic like that?
Yeah, it was a little unreasonable, but
It's very ambitious. Yes.
Yeah.
ambition is something that we generally don't lack.
You're never lacking that over here.
Yeah, but following up on ambition, I think is the tricky part, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think around that time is when the plan had to be reformulated for the first time. Going back to my time as an instructor for the Open Track Day organization, I had a student who I became friends with, specifically. His name is Angel, and I met him because Amir is a lead instructor there for this organization. So
Gotcha.
when somebody requests an instructor, it goes to Amir, and then Amir chooses the best person. Angel had shown up to the track day in a EM1 SI. So Amir was like, oh, this is easy. I'll just give this one to Utah. And then so I met him, and I instructed him for his first 2 track days, and super nice guy. Just comes off as a very genuine, kind person. We got along really well, and we became friends. I ended up driving one of his cars in FF Battle and then Superlap later on. But during this time, he had brought up the idea that he wanted to start a retail shop. He wanted to start a shop, call it Nemo's Garage.
And at this point, Angel was... What was his role in the industry, I guess you can say?
In which industry?
In the automotive industry.
He's just a car guy, right? Yeah.
He was end user.
Right, so he was end user. He was just, building a car of his own.
I don't think he had ever worked anything automotive related.
I don't think so. It wasn't
Yeah.
his field, so.
Yeah, I think he had worked for his family's business as long as he was able to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, as soon as he was able to, he started working for his family business, and then that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just asking because I don't know his history, but for me, that's like, it's a big step. Just go, hey, I want to open up a retail shop.
Yeah, it was pretty ambitious, I thought. Again, but I mean, at that time, it was just. It was just an idea that he had thrown out there. I didn't know him well enough to, really, not say pass judgment, but even to formulate a
Opinion.
opinion on my end, whether or not that was going to be a good idea.
Gotcha.
But he had thrown it out there. He's like, I'm thinking about starting a shop. I was like, hey, that sounds like a great idea. You know, let me know if you need any help.
Yeah, just offer.
We were friends, you know?
Like you always do.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, if you decided you were gonna start a sandwich shop, I'd offer to help with whatever, you know.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, you're at, you know, you, like you said, you were friends at this point. So he's like, yeah, I'll open a shop. You're not trying to pass judgment. You're just saying, hey, if you need something, I'm here.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Realistically, I do have some experience in the automotive industry, so I thought I would actually be able to help.
No, yeah, definitely. I think you can. I'm just saying that as you normally do, you were, willing to lend a hand.
Yeah. I to be honest, I wasn't sure if he was actually going to go through with it. You know, a lot of people, have ideas and talk about their ideas, but eventually he started to show that he was pretty serious about it. And before he actually started the business, he wanted to get the name out there. So that's when he came to us and expressed that he was interested in getting involved with this build, my Civic sedan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's when he proposed that he wanted to be a monetary sponsor. And he said, because up until that point, it was the Chronicles Civic, Time Attack. And he said he had $5,000, and if he could put his name on it along with the Chronicles, Nemo's Garage, then we could put that $5,000 toward parts for the car.
Okay, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, and at that point, Nemo's Garage was just a name that he had, just because that was like his thing. Yeah. It wasn't like a shop or anything yet. It was just like a thing.
Yeah, because I remember the name being around for a while.
Yeah, that was like his IG handle and everything already. So he had already. I think it was just supposed to be like a name that he created for just his group of friends or whatever. So all of a sudden, I don't know where the idea came from, but I remember talking to him about it, but I don't remember if he ever really gave me a detailed explanation of why he decided to open a shop. I guess it was just something that he just wanted to try out, so, I mean, a lot of people think about that stuff, so it's not uncommon. But
if you're interested in something and, like, you usually want to start taking steps to make it, like, a bigger and bigger part of your life, I completely understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
At that point, I was pretty financially tapped out. I had campaigned this car for 3 years at that point, and I've never made like a reasonable amount of money. I grew up. I mean, like,
I feel like you're the number one person who's underpaid.
I mean, a lot of that's his own fault.
That's my own fault. That is my own fault.
What I'm getting at is that you work hard as someone who would make more money, or I should say you don't put in the amount of work just based on how much you get paid. There's more to it and what you want to do, so you're obviously going to do more work. So what I'm getting at is, even you already were working in the industry at this time, and you were probably underpaid for the jobs you were doing.
Yeah, I think part of that is my own fault. Actually, it is entirely my own fault.
You actually worked somewhere where you didn't even get paid.
Yep, I decided. I grew up super poor, right? Okay, and then at the age of 11, I had to start putting in time to support my family. So ever since then, all I wanted was financial stability. Right. When I turned 18 and my mom moved back to Japan, took my sister, what I wanted was financial stability. I got an apartment, I started working 60, 80 hours a week, just have like this quote unquote normal life. And then one day I realized that it was completely pointless, and I was just like the unhappiest person ever. So I just started cutting my overhead down lower and lower, started renting rooms, cutting out stuff that I really didn't need. And I just decided that there was one thing that I liked, and that was cars, working on cars, writing about cars, whatever cars. I just like cars. So from that point on, I decided that I was going to not worry about money, not worry about what I didn't have. And if something happened in the future, like if I get sick or something, and like say I get cancer or something, just fuck it, I'll just die, But then up until that point, I'm gonna fuck with cars as much as I possibly can. So Angel comes to us and he says, I'm trying to establish this brand. I got $5,000. Let me put my name on this project. We say $5,000. That's a lot of fucking money. So that could do a lot for us. We could actually build an engine instead of just get a stock engine, throw a turbo on it, hope it holds.
I didn't know how much money it was, by the way.
I told you.
I don't think I remember.
Joey, we had a conversation. We literally had a conversation. I remember you were sitting in your chair. I was sitting on the couch. I was like, "Hey, Angel's offering $5,000.
Oh,
Should I take it?" And you're like,
was it like our other conversations where you tell me stuff and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool."
Isn't that how all your conversations go?
That's how all of Joey's conversations goes. He's
Well, I remembered the number $5,000, so
I just remember
Yeah,
completely
David
rebranding the
remembers.
entire thing. We completely retooled and rebranded that entire car to be the Nemo's Garage / Chronicles. Chronicles is secondary at that point.
yeah,
'cause-
Nemo's Garage even had a bigger banner than the
yeah, I
Chronicles.
didn't even want to put signage for my own thing on that car because it was supposed to be like a Nemo's Garage thing, and I was okay with that. So
yeah. So we all, I feel,
I mean, let's be honest. You just need a name to represent, whether it be Chronicles or Nemo's Garage. I mean, if you're trying to be serious about this, it's like it's so people can can recognize, right? Oh, that's the Chronicles car. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Or that's the Nemo's Garage car. Okay,
it was always the Chronicles car.
So what I'm getting at is like the Chronicles wasn't necessarily to be like, oh, it's the Chronicles car. It was more so just so that for other people to recognize.
well, even before that, there was barely any signage for that on the previous like look of the car because we just decided that we were going to do something else with it, so we put raw hard on it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but
so- 'cause it didn't
the
matter
entire
because-
quarter panel said Chronicles on it. It said rival equal.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's not the point. I'm just saying that my name didn't need to be on it because I was already doing all the visual and on all the marketing campaigning stuff for it, so it wasn't
Anyways,
even
besides
necessary.
the point. What I'm getting at is my whole purpose in bringing that up was that it being the Nemo's Garage car versus being the Chronicles car was perfectly fine. as
Yeah,
far as
because
you
we were
guys
branding
concerned.
Nemo's Garage.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a hesitation on my part because of how much, because I couldn't put a dollar amount on what the Chronicles had done for the whole effort over those 2 years.
I got you.
There was no
I do
way I could
actually
put a dollar
remember
amount, like a dollar value on what Joey had put in.
Right, I do.
So at that
remember you
point,
being
somebody
the
comes in and they're like, they throw a large for me, probably not that large for pretty much everybody else in the world, number at me, and they say, I want as much an equal stake in the recognition for this car as the Chronicles. And for me, there was a bit of internal conflict because that means, at least in my mind, that I was then putting a value of $5,000 on all of what Joey had done up to that point. So that's why I talked to him about it, but apparently he doesn't remember. So
No, I'm okay with
Joey's
it.
also a little bit older than us. So he forgets things.
yeah, he does.
Yeah,
So-
and at that point, I wasn't sleeping very much either, so...
Yeah.
This is the most Joey's ever slept in his entire life. So
Yeah, well, he looks healthier now.
yeah,
so.
definitely.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like a zombie anymore.
yeah.
So, long story short, we accepted. We got the $5,000. Or actually, Angel just said, give me a list of parts that I need, and he'll supply the parts. And
Still no shop at this point, right?
no. Well, no.
Like literally, he's just gonna go buy the parts for you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's when we hit up the Roach Brothers. Ken's Racing Engines. Good friend of Christian's. So, I had met them before, so I was like, hey, let's go out to dinner.
See, professional.
Yeah. I took them to Tamaya, right there in Roland.
I don't think Yuta's ever taken me to dinner yet, so we're not on that. Professional.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I've taken you to
Taking the
dinner
Roach
before.
Brothers to dinner. So many fucks must have been said in that conversation, because...
What?
Those three guys put together are saying fuck more than.
yeah. The
what's
Roach,
his
the
name?
Roach Brothers can't say an entire sentence without using the word fuck at least 6 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're good guys. They know their stuff. So
they definitely do. At that point, we were like, this was like what, like 3 months before? No, this was right about June, I think. I think we're at June, and we need the car done by like November.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah,
At that point when we were deciding who was going to build the engine,
yeah.
how come you didn't go through high tech like Angel did with his motor? Is it just because of the finances?
High tech and like the engine is in his EG.
Uh-huh.
I asked him because like I had driven that car obviously at that point, and I was like, yo, this engine feels fucking great.
Yeah.
Who built this engine? He said high tech, and I said, how much did it cost? And he said $10,000. Well, where the hell is the other $5,000 gonna come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's why I always wondered, and I figured it was because of the financial situation.
It was
There's
finances
10 grand in that engine.
in the internals. Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't even know the high tech even built motors before that. And we were like, what?
Yeah,
High
no,
tech?
I did.
No.
That's still kind of new to me. I think I knew about that like
Yeah.
a little while ago, but
They're very good at what they do.
And it held up the motor, so
That engine's been through hell,
yeah.
and it's held up. So good for them. I think
I didn't even. I mean, I'm still just kind of shocked because I didn't realize there was that much money into that car.
no, the long block, just the long block.
No, I understand that.
Just
but I'm saying in general, I didn't realize
block,
there was that
everything
much money
between the
into
oil
that
pan and the
car.
valve cover is 10 grand.
Yeah, that car is crazy, man.
Like my entire engine,
Yeah.
manifold, transmission, everything, LSD, final drive, all that, everything put together, I had $12,000 into it.
Right.
So
That was a lot already for us.
Yeah, he's got 10
no,
grand
that
on
was like the
all.
most I've ever spent on anything in my entire
And a
life.
lot of that went to the transmission too.
A lot of
Right.
it did go into transmission. I had just shy of 5 grand into that transmission.
Yeah.
But it's a K series transmission. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if I go to the super lap and I, destroy a gear, like that's it. That's it.
Right.
So that seemed like the most reasonable thing to do. So
Yeah. And we were planning on making a lot of power too, so it definitely had to hold up.
yeah,
But anyways, yeah, go back to what you were saying.
yeah. So we took the deal.
He's buying you parts.
Huh?
He's buying you parts.
Yeah. So I gave him a list and I asked him to send him over to Ken's Racing Engines. Parts started to show up at Ken's. I dropped off a bare head block, etc. And he got the block machined, sleeves, and then he started to assemble everything. I think the first hiccup that we had was that we needed specific wrist pins, running CB pistons, Corolla rods, like everybody else. But Ken was very specific in the wrist pin wall thickness. I told Angel this. I supplied a part number. For some reason, they just weren't showing up. I understand he's busy, but the wrist pins actually never showed up. That's the thing.
Really?
Yeah. He never got the wrist pins. But I guess that's a little later too.
Or timeline wise, when was this already? Like, it was still like early October?
No, this was like before then. I think it was like maybe even September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we pretty much had the bottom end complete. Oh well, no, we were waiting on the engine side. We had all the parts. We were just waiting on wrist pins. In hindsight, I should have just got them myself. Eventually, this is way after the car didn't get done and whatnot. But I still wanted to put the engine together because at that point I still wanted to drive the car. So I don't know what happened with the wrist pins, but all I know is that I called CP and they were on their way to Ken's address in a matter of 15 minutes. I don't know what happened, what kind of complication there was with Angel getting them, but maybe I just got super lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know because we never even talked about it after that, right?
No, not really. The car, so it seemed like the car was going to make it since we had Ken doing the engine, Ghostworks on the trans. I decided that, at our shop, we were going to concentrate on the chassis and body work and basically fitting the wheels, tires that we wanted to.
Yeah.
So I completely stripped the car down, all the interior, started on the chassis harness, and I started on the body work, getting all that together. And then as soon as the body work was mocked up to the way I wanted it to, we sent it out to Premiere in Hollywood, Edson, and he did an amazing job putting that together, smoothing everything out, and then painting the car in a matter of like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like Edson really, really came through on that one.
That was the other thing too, that he that's like he kind of dropped everything, got the car done, and gave it back to you guys, and that's not really like him to just be like. I mean, he he is the type to be like, yeah, bring it, I'll figure it out. But what I'm getting at is that you could tell that he was putting the great effort in to get that car done in a reasonable time.
He really did. There's a lot of people that I personally feel like I let down because of this whole thing.
Well, yeah, it was kind of a big flop, on our end. It like no one really knows about what happened because all these little things happened, but it was like we dropped the ball big time on it, because at that point we had all this like momentum behind us with Jason from Global Time Attack like talking to me. He was like, yeah, you guys are bringing excitement back into Time Attack in America, and like people are very excited about your car. We can't wait to see it, and blah blah. And then, dude, literally when we told him that the car wasn't gonna make it, like we never heard from him again. Because I think he was probably upset about it. Like, they would never say anything, but you can tell that it was like, dude, we pushed this car so hard to make it, and then it just didn't show up. So,
But we literally did everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was, 3 weeks? Sorry, that was 2 weeks, because the Japanese people were already here for SEMA. So, it was 2 weeks before SEMA. The car, Super Lap is a week or two after SEMA?
Yeah, I believe it was a week and a half after.
Yeah, so I think I had 1 month left. I was like, fuck it, I'm quitting my job. I gotta put 24 hours a day into this car. Because at that point, I was working in Glendale, And so I would wake up at 6, get to work at 8, work until 7, and then get to the shop at 9, work until about 2 or 3 a.m., go to sleep, wake up at 6. But
Yeah, I remember.
it was, I just didn't have enough time. I was only able to put in, 5-6 hours a day into the car. I legitimately needed 24 hours at this point.
And that's what I'm getting at. It's like you guys had this whole idea of like, look at all these people that we've now involved
Yep.
in this car, and we're getting close to the end. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what I have to do on my side. I'm quitting my job.
So I
now
did.
go and try to complete this.
Yeah. At this point, obviously, Angel was a big part of it. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm quitting my job, get this car done. He's like, oh, sorry. I said, I told him I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm thinking about quitting my job to get this car done. And he's like, well, if it helps, I'll give you $500 to quit your job. So, and it did help, realistically, $500 at that point. Bought, I think, a pair of tires, and that was kind of a big thing. There's a lot of stuff that the car needed, but in the end, I think it came down to those wrist pins. Ken didn't have them, and I didn't know. There's a lack of communication, honestly. I think if I had somebody like managing this whole thing, it might have worked out. It may have actually worked out, but the thing is, yes, it was my car. Yes, I was a driver, but at the same time, like, I was also one of the guys working on it.
I remember Ken telling me, like, I was like, oh, what's up with the engine? Casually. Like, I'm not trying to butt into someone's situation, but, I talked to Ken. And
Yeah, you saw him at work too, right?
Roach, yeah, they come by a lot. We talk about stuff. So I was just like, hey, what's up with Utah's engine? How's that going? And he's just like, it's great. I'm just waiting on these wrist pins, And I'm like, what? I'm thinking, like, I'm not an engine builder, but in my head, that sounds like something minimal to be waiting on,
Yeah, it's something that's readily available.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't know. I think at that point I was kind of like, just like I had given Angel a list, so it was what it was,
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I didn't have a whole lot of time to think. There was a lot of stress.
Right.
I'm not saying anybody's at fault here.
Yeah, you were definitely...
Yeah, I think everyone just had a lot of going on at the time, so there's a miscommunication somewhere in between there that caused that, so...
I mean, it's around here, if you're in the industry at that time of the year, it's always chaos.
It's ridiculous. It's like, not only like am I trying to put a car together, literally everybody that we're working with is trying to put a car together.
Every time I talk to someone and they're like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, well, we got this SEMA build going on over here.
There's
Everyone's
SEMA,
just like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you mutually know when you're talking to people in the industry, like, you're doing the exact same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
So...
There's SEMA and then Super Lap, and so a lot of stuff was going on. To
Yeah.
this day, I still haven't seen that engine ever. 2 years later, I haven't seen
I don't think I've ever
any
seen
kind of engine.
You know what's hella funny? I have never seen that. Engine. I never. Okay, so before we get any misconceptions here, Ken did finish the engine.
Yeah, the engine was finished.
Ken did finish the engine. So basically, the car didn't make it to Super Lap. That's it.
So Super Lap was supposed to be before or after the Chronicles meet?
It was
Right
after.
It's after.
It goes Chronicles meet, SEMA, and then Super Lap.
And then Super Lap.
Yeah, but by that time, we were like... By the time my meet came around, I think we had already known that the car... We had 1 week, pretty much, after the Chronicles meet, and we still bought the car out just
No,
because...
Oh, you mean the same week that everyone's at SEMA?
Yeah.
Yeah, so during that time, I was hoping to get the engine, put it in.
So you weren't going to go to SEMA. You were going to try to...
I was not going to go to SEMA.
For the record, too, I mean, I'm sure most of the people listening to this will know, but the car was at the Chronicles meet.
Yes, it was.
It just didn't have an engine.
It just didn't have an engine and trans.
Yeah, everything else was pretty much there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of minor aero things here and there that needed to be made, but that was easy.
Suspension was all together, brakes were on, all the bodywork was on, wing was on, splitter was on, wheels, tires.
Yeah.
It needed engines, trans, computer, axles, most of which we had.
Yeah.
Right.
We were
Yeah.
optimistic about it still. We were like, well, the engine's going to come in. We're not going to have much time, but while everyone's at SEMA, Utah's going to put the motor in and then shake
Yeah,
the car
remember
down.
that.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, I was gonna shake it down and hopefully it was gonna be like a movie situation. We were gonna shake it down as Super Lap. Fuck it, like let's at least get it there and run it, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
The car was cool. It looked cool. We're we're all excited about it.
It was pretty promising.
Yeah.
I mean, I was excited just to see that much of everything put into your sedan and then see you go and track it. You know what I mean? It was like all the things that you were like, oh, I would like to have this on my car. I would like to do this to my car. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. You're going to have it all now. You know what I mean?
I think for me, that whole rebuild represented a lot more. That was like my Hail Mary pass. Like, I've always loved driving. Like, driving is still, like, I think my favorite thing in the world. And, you know, I mean, I was never delusional. Like, I didn't think I was going to be, like, a pro race car driver or something.
Right.
But I figured that I could get by doing freelance driving like I do freelance riding, you know? Like, I figured I could, you know, just do work as an instructor, do, like, commercial stuff, stunt driving, maybe some test driving for shops and stuff. You know, make enough money to get by driving. That was like my dream. So,
Well, before that, you had just cars was just like a hobby and a fun thing. But by this point, when you decided to build this car, that was you actually setting like real, like bigger goals.
yeah, I
And
think
what
I
you
was
wanted to
It's 2 years ago, so I was 26.
Yeah.
No, I was 20. Yeah, I was 26, and I was like, okay, so I'm like getting kind of old for trying to get into this, you know.
Yeah.
So that was it. I was like, I'm gonna give everything I have now, and if we do well, get some more recognition, maybe get, you know, a little bit more substantial, I guess a little bit more money behind us.
Yeah.
You know, we can make some real waves and hopefully go from there, and hopefully, you know, really start this as like a job. I can start driving more consistently, and, you know, instead of paying for it, maybe get paid a little bit of money for it, you know?
Yeah. But that's what happens when you like. That's where like a lot of people lose the passion and the fun side of the hobby is when you kind of turn it into a job, you know. And we all kind of knew that was a risk going into it. But
I've never fell out of love with driving, but I know that from a logical standpoint, I couldn't just keep chasing this dream, you know,
yeah.
because I have bills to pay, and, you know, can't do it. So that was it. I was like, that was like my that was like my last shot, and I kind of gave it everything I had. And the car didn't make it, obviously. So at that point, I just decided that that was it for me.
We never really talked about it either, huh? Afterwards,
No, I think we just
I think
kind
I
of
made
knew.
like one post about it, and then that was it. It
Yeah,
was kind of vague.
I think it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, you just didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
Let's move on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
And then people still ask about it till this day too. Like, oh man, when's the car getting done? When are you gonna see it? I was like, hey man, it's still here. It's sitting here, but
Still
the
waiting
car
for
hasn't
it.
got worked on since like the day before the.
yeah,
After that, it was just like, fuck it, whatever.
yeah. But so moving on. So the car didn't get finished.
Yeah, car didn't get done. So I decided I'll just go to SEMA. So I went to SEMA, hung out with you guys.
You went to SEMA with Angel.
Oh yeah.
That's your
Oh, yeah.
boy.
Yeah, I remember you guys were like, everyone was cool with each other at the time, you know? Like, Angel, I had already known Angel, and then we were all cool with each other, and we were homies and stuff, so you were
Yeah.
like, fuck it, the car's not gonna get done, you know what, you might as well just go to SEMA and then check out the show and then have a little bit of fun and just get some sleep, you know?
You know what's funny? I literally went there and just fucking knocked out.
I
Yeah.
remember, because you were supposed to go to the club with us, and then we bought clothes and everything, and then you just went to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like a reoccurring theme, though. Yeah, so we went to SEMA, and then after that, I was unemployed. I had quit my job to try to get this car done, and I wasn't in a position where I could go back. I quit, like, I didn't give a 2 weeks notice. I quit that day.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
was
only
like-
position you were in after that was face down on the couch, because that's
Yeah.
what you're doing most of the time.
I was trying to figure out what the fuck I was gonna do.
Yeah, and that was like kind of the hangover from not sleeping when putting all that work into the car, you know, so it was understandable.
Yeah, I think it was around that time when Angel started talking to me more about starting his business. So
The shop was there at that point already, right?
I'm not sure.
I think he had a space there already, but he hadn't done anything with it yet. It was just like a shop space for him, like kind of like a man
You're
cave
right.
type of situation where,
No, he did he
had
had
another-
this. He used it as an office, as a personal office.
Yeah, he has like whatever his other business is.
Yeah.
requires an office, and he didn't want to have it at home anymore or something, right?
Some shit like that.
because I
Yeah.
remember we went there and it was empty, and then he just had a TV and a PlayStation there. It was just a hangout.
You're right.
Yeah.
So between SEMA and Tokyo Auto Salon, so basically from between October and January, a lot of my time was spent actually doing consulting for Nemo's Garage.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I wasn't paid for it, but like Angel would text me, call me, email me, like pretty much every day, asking about where to get this part, what vendor to go through, who to talk to here, who to talk to at this brand, manufacturer, etc., etc., etc. And I actually devoted a lot of time to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were you getting paid for it?
no,
No, just helping out, right?
no,
I remember
just
this too.
yeah. Well, we're friends.
Yeah, no, I remember having the conversation about how you were doing this.
Oh yeah,
So
it was kind of like a full-time job.
Yeah.
there you go again, overworking and being underpaid.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But, well, realistically, this one, it led to a job.
Okay.
Angel then one day said, hey, I'm serious about starting this business. Do you want to start this shop for me? And I said, let me think about it. When I come back from Japan, I'll have an answer for you. Because this was like a week before we went to Auto Salon.
Mm-hmm. That was the first time you went to Auto Salon with us, right?
The other
Was
part
it?
that I remember about this is when I was trying to get you to come work at Rywire.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is this: you going to Japan and thinking about what you want to do with Angel was one of the determining factors. Is that
Really?
you're gonna come back and be willing to go to work at Rywire.
Fuck. Damn.
Yeah, hindsight is always 20/20. So
Anyway,
David, would I or would I have not gotten fucked over at Rywire?
you know how they say everything happens for a reason. I would say that if you were gonna come work for Rywire, now would be a better time. Than
I think so,
back
too.
Then,
Yeah.
Just because of the situation and what the business is now versus what it was then. So yeah, like I said, everything happens for a reason.
Realistically, dude, like as much fun as that would have been, I think, and like as like fulfilling as it would have been, like
I think the difference is at that time I kind of just wanted you to come work there
mm-hmm.
versus like, hey, we actually need someone like you here. Do
Yeah.
you want to come work here? It was
Right.
more like we could use you and I think it'd be great. So yeah.
Like it would make lunch more fun.
it was also way closer of a drive, by the way. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But the thing was, realistically, even if that offer was like legitimately on the table, like if we had actually gone out to dinner and discussed it,
Yeah, that was the thing. We never did the dinner yet. It wasn't.
we,
That
I know.
far.
But even if it was, I honestly think I would have tried the whole Nemo's Garage thing.
Of course.
Because the ceiling seemed higher on that side.
It was more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like for sure, like what I could do what I could do for Rywire.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to come be an employee at this company or do you want to help come start X company? Which
Right.
one sounds more appealing to anyone?
It's exciting. Like
Yeah.
even if you don't care about money, like it's like you have like creative freedom, and that's like always been like a thing for me.
Yeah,
like
of
I
course.
fucking love creative freedom. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
Is that why you do accounting all day now?
Hey man. But I built like 3 cars this year.
Yeah. So
That's like hella fun to me. That's like all I want to do for the rest of my life is just fucking build cars.
Mm-hmm.
Not in 10 days anymore. That was fucked up.
if you want to build cars in 10 days, you need to go on what's it, overhauling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they have a whole team. I do it by myself.
I'm just saying that's the way to build a car in 10 days, not the way you're doing it.
I know. But I did. But I did it.
You're right.
I did it once. I'll never do it again. But I did it once.
Okay, get back to being
Okay. I'm going back.
not being happy.
All right. So we went to Japan, came back. I was like, "Fuck it, dude. Let's do this. Let's start Nemo's Garage." Angel gave me a location, one part-time employee, and a starting capital.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the one employee was Joseph, who is now the partner with Angel.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's very clear to anyone, but
Joseph now owns part of Nemo's Garage, however much that may be.
Okay.
But he started off as my part-time employee.
But what I'm getting at is I don't know if that's like public information or whatever.
I don't give a
They, like,
fuck.
admit-
Was he working there
No,
before
meaning,
you
I don't know
jumped
if
in?
they admit to it.
Huh?
Was he working there already? Like was he already starting there when you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He actually started there before me, doing data entry based on all the stuff that I had told Angel to do to start his business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I went there. So Joe and I made the website. I set up the inventory and accounting software and started to get into the whole marketing branding thing, a lot of which was done by Joey. And the thing is, Joey never got paid for any of it.
I mean,
He just
Joey
did it.
also likes to work for free.
Joey also likes to support people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, so
In reality, that's what it is.
it's like way more than he should, in my opinion. But he did, and I think that was a huge part of why Nemo's Garage took off so quickly. So
I got paid for the logo design.
you did get paid for the logo design.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but everything else was a solid.
everything else was a solid, but everything else was a investment. We felt that it was an investment.
Because we were building it together. We were friends and
Look,
stuff.
it all boils down to we just help out our friends.
We support
Yeah.
those that support
And-
us, kind of thing. Yeah.
And now one of our friends is going to help start this business.
Yeah.
So we're going to do whatever it is that we can do.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like when I naturally, I wanted to carry Rywire products, I hit you up and you gave us the deepest discount. Everybody else supported us in the same way. Like everybody, like all my personal friends, they're just like, "Oh shit, you're like managing this startup, he fucking got you."
Yeah.
So once again, I let down all these people. That's like the one thing I'm fucking great at, but
You don't let me down.
huh?
Oh, that's
I have very low expectations for you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I don't know why the fuck I'm so good at doing this shit, but I just like let people down. So I'm
Granted,
hitting up all these.
This was the same group of people still. So
I know it's the same group of people. Like I just keep letting
So
them down.
basically
Like how
you
much
just-
further down can they go?
basically we're just waiting for something good to come out of all of this.
Yeah, I fucking
And they all still stand by you till this day.
I'm
so.
working on it.
Look, here's the other part of it is that you're
Yeah.
a genuine person. It's not like you're just asking for favors with intentions of not really doing anything good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And some of it goes unasked. When you said, "Hey, I want to carry Rywire products," I wasn't like, "Okay, well here's it's a stretch. Here's what you have to do." I don't know. It was just like, "Look, man, I'm behind you. You
I
wanna
know
carry our
you're just like
products, we
here.
got it."
This is your list. Go ahead. And I was like, all right, cool.
I mean, but that's how friends are, you know.
I know.
If you were someone who I thought was just like not an honest person and didn't give a shit and you're just money hungry, I
Yeah.
probably would have been like, all right, well, this is business.
Uh-huh.
And let's just keep it at that. You can get our first level of pricing.
Yeah, I know. And you know what's even more fucked up? Like even now, like with what I'm doing now with Battlecraft, you guys still like
Yeah.
got it's ridiculous. Like how many chances do I have here?
Until you
Just let me know when I'm on my
until
last
you
one.
purposely fuck up and try to take advantage. That's when you have your last chance.
Yeah. I think I'm good. I think that won't happen. Ever. Nah, it won't ever be intentional.
Yeah,
But
you're fine. It's not like you took people's money and ran away with it or anything, you know. So
no, that's
yeah,
that's not.
So continue.
Yeah, so I think that was really it. Joe was part-time. So I think I had him for like 4 days a week, 4 hours a day or something like that. During that time, he put in good amount of work. I decided that I liked him as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's cliche as fuck, but like good help is really hard to find in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that Joe was worth investing in, and I think like 2 or 3 months in, I talked to him like in length. Like I think we sat down for like 2 or 3 hours. And at the time, his primary job was he was working with kids at a school, and like that was something that he really cared about. He was passionate about it. It was fulfilling. But I told him it's like I told him to come work full time, and I told him that I would match his salary, make sure that he had room to grow, and as long as he was down to commit to that, like I would make sure that he was taken care of. And I think he thought about it for about a week. He decided to come work there full time, and that's when shit really started to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
I had him full time on sales while I was concentrating full time on how to grow the business even further and further. And it actually worked out really well. And I think during that time he was, or rather for the rest of the duration, he was actually getting, I paid him more than I paid myself.
Yeah.
But that's reasonable. So we were I was, putting in, 12-hour days, 14-hour days, making sure we get, we're just trying to get the business up and running as quickly as possible. And we really did.
Where was Angel during this time?
I mean, he was working his
Oh yeah, he had a regular job.
his
So he wasn't there
regular
that much.
Huh?
He wasn't there very often.
No, maybe about once a week.
Okay, he would
He'd
just stop
come in for a little
and stuff.
bit, stop in. Yeah, I mean, but when he would come in, I would have all like the reports ready,
Mhm.
so he could see where his company was at, and so there wasn't really any. I don't think there was much worry on his side.
Yeah, he didn't have to do anything. He was just
The company turned a profit pretty quickly. It was self-sustaining, even to this day. certain manufacturers will be like, hey, that Nemo's Garage, like, what the hell happened? Like, it like just blew up.
Yeah, it soared very really quickly. So.
Yeah. So I mean, to this day, I'm confident that we did as good a job as anybody could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So Joe's working there full time now.
Around what time was this?
Fuck, I don't know. What was that?
'Cause when was the meet? It was like summertime already. June. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was probably around like March, April, May, around that time.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't start until after we got back from Japan, which would have been February.
Yeah.
So.
So that's when we started it, and then we built the EM1, which was a whole nother clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But I think I'm confident when I can confidently say that during that time I delivered on everything.
Yeah, you did to the best
100%.
of your ability, and the business is successful. So
I don't even think it was the best of my ability. Like, I think that everything that Angel wanted, I delivered on.
Yeah.
Everything that I had promised, I delivered. Everything that I attempted, I delivered.
You did a great job.
I think, well, I mean, I had a fucking group of amazing people behind me.
yeah.
People that never got credit for anything. But
Yeah, it was okay. Credit doesn't really matter. It's
I
fine.
know,
Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean, obviously, we're talking about this 2 years later.
Yeah. But yeah, so the business was doing well, and at that point, it wasn't really even like open to the public yet, right? It wasn't even publicly known that the shop was around and established already.
Yeah, it was, dude. Like,
Really?
even just like if you like just from watching your vlogs, it's just like
Oh
Nemo's
yeah.
Garage.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
all
you're
very
you're
like natural
thinking-
marketing, though. Yeah, we didn't really push it as a business.
You're thinking, I think a little bit back.
No, at that point, it was
At this
definitely
point, he was, there was
it was obvious.
site he was already building. Yuta's already contacted all these companies. They're putting in all these hours. You are, putting it out there. Everything pretty much. I remember thinking at one point, going, "Damn, does everything have to somehow mention Nemo's Garage?"
Oh yeah.
Like I felt like everything we did was like
We pushed it.
it was like.
Yeah.
Remember when maybe you guys will understand this because
Uh-huh.
you're so Asian, but do you remember when Diddy first brought out Ciroc?
Yeah. Just because we're Asian, we don't know about Diddy.
You're the one that always tries to say I watch too many black movies and stuff, so I don't know if you're gonna
That's
get
true.
this. But anyway,
Yeah.
We're also
point
huge
is-
Cardi B fans.
yeah. Anyway, my point is when Diddy first came out with Ciroc, I felt like there was Ciroc commercials when it didn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the word
Like-
Ciroc was said when it didn't even make sense. Like, we're not even talking about alcohol. Why are you bringing up
Yeah,
Ciroc?
you're watching fucking Rugrats and the commercial comes on and Ciroc. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck is this about?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt like Nemo's Garage was.
Yeah. We were
Where
smart
it was
about
like, we're not even fucking having a conversation or anything to do with that. And then I feel like Nemo's Garage is in my face. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
did you know about this? Like, that was my
We pushed
thing.
it fucking hard.
You're like,
Yeah.
Did you go out to dinner yet? You mean Nemo's Garage?
It's okay. Wait, it's
Hey,
like,
I'm hungry. There's this place next to this shop called Nemo's Garage.
Yeah.
It's like really good food. Like, that's how I felt like it was.
It was really-
You know,
like, yeah.
it was fucked up, but we pushed it and it fucking worked.
It was smart organic marketing, and people
I don't know
didn't
if it was
even
organic.
people didn't even notice how it was pushed until the name became like established and there was a foundation for it already. It was because we did a
Yeah.
really good job of promoting it.
I think that as like by the time the store went live, for example, like people were already familiar with it and they were completely comfortable buying from there.
Yeah,
Like, that's
there
how
wasn't, there wasn't ever a sense, and this is what I'm trying to get at. For one, you treated this business as if it were your own. Everyone around you treated it as if it was your own.
I know.
And there was never with any new business, in my opinion, there's always going to be the, do we trust those guys? Do they know what they're talking
I
about? Do they
know.
know what they're doing? I'm talking about from a customer standpoint.
No, I understand.
Nemo's Garage never had to deal with that because as soon as there was a website to go live, it was like, I already know who they are, I know what they're about, I know what they're capable of. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
buy from it. And I'm not just talking about California.
I know.
I feel like it was that way across the country, across everywhere. I mean, you got guys in Japan talk about Nemo's Garage.
I mean, they did a good job of doing it after us, but we pushed it really hard. And it also didn't hurt the fact that the logo looks a lot like something that would come
Yeah.
from the Chronicles because it was all from the same designer. So. Which is Salem. Yeah.
basically everybody that had a voice fucking vouched for that shop.
Yeah.
Other parts manufacturers were vouching for it. Like media, like the fucking media was vouching for it. Like I asked for a lot of favors, I think, and everybody was way too down.
Honestly, I think that's the part that kills you the most.
I think I hate it so much.
The part that kills you the most is that you're like, damn, I asked favors. Like,
We
people don't
didn't get
understand,
we didn't get to the part where he's not affiliated with Nemo's Garage anymore. We're jumping too far ahead.
Oh yeah, we are jumping too far ahead.
That's what I do.
At this point, everyone can still be like, "Oh yeah, man, Utah's doing a great job over at Nemo's Garage right now."
Yeah, you're right.
Everything was cool. Kind of. Everything was kind of cool, I guess. Apparently not. But the business was sustaining itself. It was profitable. Like, right off the bat, unfucking heard of. Publicity was good, brand image was good, everything about it was positive. And we're like, all right, we're pretty much in the clear now from a financial standpoint, and let's throw a grand opening meet to celebrate and hopefully get some more marketing out there. Started planning the grand opening meet. Once again, Joey helped out, put his fucking name on it. It was hosted by the Chronicles. Absolutely unnecessary.
Hot, but
It's fucking middle of summer in fucking in fucking Ontario, and Joey's like, yeah, I'm a host this meet. You're fucking insane, first of all.
I was reluctant because it was so hot.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, these listeners, you guys might not know what I look like, but I'm overweight and big, and I don't like being anywhere that's hot, nor do I like to drive on shitty roads in my Lexus.
Yeah.
If you've never been to Ontario before,
It's a fucking shithole.
It's very heavy with semi-truck traffic, so the roads there are constantly fucked up.
Yeah.
I drove my LS in the fucking crazy heat all the way to Ontario.
It was like 120 degrees. You came out, Chewy brought his Integra, fucking Cam brought his TE.
My AC was blowing cold, and I could feel the heat from my window.
Dude, imagine Cam
burned my
driving
arm
there
on
in
the
his
window that
fucking TE. It is 1981 Corolla.
I'm not down. The only
Dude.
reason why I did was I remember thinking too, like,
No,
hey,
you
should I
guys
take my
fucking came through. That's what I'm trying to say, is that it was like absolutely
I
fucking...
think Chewy's AC was like disconnected or something at that point.
No, and he didn't have AC.
Because he had like done something to his engine so that he like didn't recharge his AC. And I didn't even know till we got there, and I'm like, why the fuck are you sweating, dog? And he's like, I have no AC. It's hot as fuck out here.
It was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
It was hot as fuck.
Yeah. It was a great meet, though. It was a huge turnout. People came out from, like, Central California, everywhere. So.
Dude, everybody fucking came out. That's the thing.
It was a great meet.
It was a great meet.
Yeah.
It was a great meet.
You're not going to talk about the other Civic then?
Oh, yeah. Fuck that car. Whatever. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. We'll just breeze through it. Joe and Utah had a friendly competition at work of who could build a daily driver into, what was the goal?
Well, because here's the thing. So Joe and I both ended up having daily driver Civics, right? Like the 96 to 2000 chassis.
The long version.
Yeah, it's not the long version. And then me being a responsible manager, I was like, hey, we have these two fucking stock Civics parked outside every single day. What can I do to make it a little bit more comfortable for customers when they walk in, to maybe have some confidence that we're not just some idiots, with stock cars?
Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you skipped something. Because if we're now at the meet, there's a part that you've skipped. Remember that monetary sponsorship?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that...
Even you remember. You weren't even here last time.
Wow, David, that was kind of important.
No, I think that's very important.
So...
It says a lot about who you are.
I was now managing this company, Nemo's Garage, who was a sponsor before, but now I was in charge of making sure that everything could be done. Everything that I could do was done to benefit Nemo's Garage. I decided that continuing to sponsor myself was not a smart business move at that point, because I was working with a finite amount of money. And an opportunity came up. I wanted to do a buy-in with a parts manufacturer that I felt would be a very smart move in the long run, and I needed to come up with the money. So I ended up selling my engine and trans, voiding my own sponsorship, and paying the company back the $5,000 that I got from the sponsorship. Mm-hmm. So...
Which, by you doing so, puts you even deeper in with the people that you already have failed to...
I thought of it as an investment.
Yeah. No, I know, but what I'm getting at is that it was a good investment, but it was also, like, you were also doing that knowing that it was going to let some people down at the same time, because now you're getting further away from what could have been the goal of finishing the car.
Well, the thing was that at the rate that Nemo's Garage was growing, and what was in the original deal of my salary and actually the share in the company, at the end of that year, I figured that I could completely rebuild the Civic. Right. I'll put in my time, I'll put in the hours.
Right.
Just fucking push through the first year,
Gotcha.
and then the beginning of the second year, I figured I could have some time to myself, build my car, and I guess stay true to what I promised everybody. And I figured in that sense, the 10% of the company that I was promised, if I made this deal, it would
Pay for
double
itself. Yeah.
in value. So that was my thought process. It wasn't all just because I'm a fucking generous person or anything. Like I did the math.
No, I get it.
Yeah, it wasn't some, I don't know, act of generosity or something.
It was the right move.
I thought so.
No, it was.
Yeah, like from a business standpoint, it made a lot of sense. So I guess
Now we're at the meet. It's hot as shit.
now we're at the meet. It's hot as shit. I haven't slept.
You brought out the Civic that you decided to, which I brought up on the last podcast. You decided to put together like days before.
Yeah, it's because
Joe's
like
doing the same thing, but what I'm getting at is you guys both did this
Yeah.
friendly competition.
I thought it was
to-
cool. I thought it was actually. I thought
I
it brought
mean,
like.
In my opinion, it also created a little buzz. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you guys are doing it in the name of Nemo's Garage.
I
That's
thought
what
so
I'm getting
too.
at.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
thought it was
remember,
cool.
what did you guys do? Put it on Facebook, or it was like the NWP Facebook page, or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but I felt like people were going to look like, where are these dudes at with these two builds?
Right.
Because they were relatable builds. You were gonna build a daily. The
Yeah.
point was to keep it a daily.
It was a $3,000 limit.
Yeah, and you had a limit.
Yeah.
So
It was a budget build.
Budget. I think that budget builds are always fun. They're always relatable, and people love reading about them.
right.
It's always a fun thing, like, because everywhere else in the media you have these insane high dollar builds wherever you want to see them, but then once in a while you get these budget builds, and especially
And it's like what we were talking about on the last podcast. Like,
yeah,
sometimes you just want the bare bones, simple build. Even if you've had something that's got all this crazy shit in it, you still turn around and you go, well, see this simple car that I have here? Mm-hmm. I actually like driving this one around.
I think people appreciate it, and I think it brings good press.
Yeah.
So that was the reason behind it, and of course both Joe and I had a lot of fun doing it. Joe maybe had a little more fun because he had 2 months to do it, and I did it in like 3 days, but that's my own fault. Like, a lot of the planning that went into the meet, stuff like that, it took a lot of time. So I only had 3 days to do it.
So
Yeah.
it made it fun. People showed up. People wanted to see these cars you guys put
Yeah.
together.
It was just another reason to go to the meet, pretty much.
Yeah, it was another reason to go to the meet. You were at the meet. You were,
I was the first one there, and I was tired as fuck.
yeah.
The first indication that I had that something was wrong was that I wasn't able to log into anything.
Oh, wait. Can we go back to how was your relationship with Angel at that point?
I don't know. It seems like everybody seems to tell me that something different. I don't know. I thought we were okay, but then again, I'm not very good with relating to people. Like,
But there was nothing that stood out to you where you guys were like arguing about shit, right?
no, we didn't really have time to argue.
So
I mean, he wasn't really ever there, right?
He was never there. And the thing is,
from the start until the meet, there was nothing crazy that happened.
nothing crazy happened.
And when you say people tell you different, what you've heard that there was animosity or something?
Yeah, some people say that like Angel
It was me.
was, huh?
It was me.
Yeah, I mean, apparently,
you had recognized something before?
Oh yeah, it was when we went to Japan. Oh yeah, because we forgot to add to the point where at that point we were all pretty good friends to the point
Where
where
you forgot to say that I'm gonna take you on this trip to Japan, and then when we get back, I'm gonna let you know if I want to come help you start this business.
oh no, not that trip. The trip to Weekfest Japan.
oh, this was like when we were already working together.
I'm sorry.
At that point, we were like
fucked that
all pretty good friends. The business was doing well, and then
Okay, here's my thing. You can't use Japan as judgment, though, because that's just too much time around someone.
well, no, that's what happens. So
I think any reasonable person is going to be able to differentiate between going like on a trip with somebody and then them running your business and keep that separate. But the thing is, it's not like Angel and I were like fighting on the trip or anything. I didn't feel any kind of animosity. Joey apparently sensed something.
What I'm saying is Joey sensed it, but what I'm trying to say is you can't use that judgment, because it could just be like, hey, these two dudes are literally have been together for way too long on this trip, and now they don't want to be around each other.
But Joey and I
then-
spent every day together for like the last 4 years.
He what? I'm sorry.
Joey and I have spent like every day together for like the last 4 years, and we're
You
totally
don't
fine.
talk to each other.
We don't
that doesn't
talk.
count.
We don't talk.
yeah, well, ideal situations where people can separate business and friendship, but that's oftentimes not the case, you know. And then that also speaks to later on about how Angel felt Utah was like, we'll get to that part, but
Okay, well then let's just move forward.
yeah. So in Japan, they were like I mean, it's kind of casually looking and it was fine, but I think there was already kind of like a rift there that was forming with
something
Angel.
brewing.
Yeah, because there was times when he would just kind of want to be by himself and walk off on his own and stuff, and that was fine, you know. And then at that time, we're all kind of promoting the Nemo's Garage still, and then he brought stuff, and then he went to Week Fest. He wanted to check out Japan, and then, you know, for anybody to go to Japan with us, they usually have to be pretty close friends with us, you know?
Right.
Because we keep a pretty small circle, and Japan's kind of a big deal. We don't really like bringing people, because you're going to meet all our friends and everything over there, too.
I mean,
so.
Japan is very intimate in the sense that you have to look at it as if you're being invited to someone's home. Think of it like that. So you're not just going to bring anyone to your good friend's home.
It literally is my home.
Yeah, and then you're like traveling with friends too, and traveling with friends isn't easy. So, you know, like for you to be able to go on a trip to another country, you kind of have to trust these people that,
Right.
you know.
I
you
thought
have
it was
to-
totally cool.
good
I guess that's my problem. It was like, oh yeah, sick. We'll take Angel. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That was my thought
I
process.
remember going, why are you guys taking Angel? Nothing against Angel, by the way. At this point in time, I'm like, dude, Angel's like the nicest guy I've ever fucking met.
Yeah, that
But
dude's
my
hella
point
nice.
was literally Angel for me in this situation was like more of a business thing, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but
Right.
it was just like, you know, he was an acquaintance for me personally, for the majority of us. But in your situation, it was like saying, hey, I'm gonna bring my boss on this trip with us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You didn't look at it like that.
No.
'cause
That is
you
kinda
still
weird.
Looked at it as I've helped my friend start this business.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, yo, dog, why are you bringing your boss on the trip? You know what I'm
Shit,
saying?
you're right.
Well, we had already spent a lot of time with him too. Like we did FF Battle with him, Super
Yeah.
Lab. We did we saw him at events and we hung out, you know. So
Yeah.
we were just like, yeah, we were friends. So
I saw the guy more than I see like Christian.
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
It was kind of, now that you point that out, it is kind of weird.
I'm just saying.
I didn't see it though.
You know, I always overthink things, so I'm not gonna bring it up and be like, "Hey, dog, like you shouldn't take your boss, bro." Like it wasn't even like that.
You
but it
probably
was, like,
should have told me
In
that.
my head, I'm just thinking like, "Huh,
Wow,
I
yeah.
guess these dudes have become very tight."
You know,
I-
hindsight's always 20/20, like
Yeah,
they say. So
yeah.
I also overthink things, and I should have probably overthought that. But
yeah. So by the time we got back from Japan, I kind of like I don't
I
know.
remember you telling me,
Yeah.
like, you know, every time I don't go to Japan, you guys go and you come back. I'm like,
Yeah.
how'd it go? You know?
And then I think the other thing that kind of built up some tension was that fucking EM1 that they were building together that Utah put all the time into. So,
We also didn't talk about that yet.
do
yeah.
we have to?
Can I talk about it? Because you tend to like draw things out too much.
Go ahead.
It had a lot to do with the overall
So-
landscape. So
How?
Another one of the things, aside from the easy, relatable builds that you two were doing, was the crazy, all kinds of money thrown into one car build for the Nemo's Garage EM1. And
Yeah.
you kind of, like how you were saying, you wish you had someone to have done on your four-door. You were kind of the like build manager for this car.
Yeah.
And it was now your responsibility to get this car put together. And I don't know what the identity of this car was originally supposed to be, because I felt like it was supposed to be a time attack car, but then kind of looked like a show car. That could have been your fault because you tend to do things like that.
No,
Which is not bad.
no,
that's,
that's what
that
Angel
car,
wanted.
That car was supposed to be a fucking show car, straight from the beginning.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like his next great build after the EG, you know, because that Civic had done so well and it accomplished so much that he wanted to build something. I remember him actually having a conversation with me, asking me like what he thought that I should like, what kind of advice I could give him to kind of repeat that success. And I was like, hey man, like you can't expect that kind of success with everything, you know, like you
Yeah.
can't strike lightning like twice, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's kind of hard. So he had a lot of pressure on him, and he put a lot of pressure, I think, on the shop and on himself and everyone because he wanted that car to be a big
It
deal.
was like his
so.
sophomore album, right? It
Yeah,
was like,
and there's a sophomore slump, you know, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was kind of a big deal. I even
That's-
told him, I was like, man, the second one is going to be tough, man, because
yeah.
it's hard to repeat success like that, man.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I never understood. Is that okay? Like
Because you don't look at things that way.
we are like I have 24 hours a day. I'm building this business for you. Can I please concentrate on that? But no,
No.
he has this personal project going on. It's
This
EM1.
EM1 is far more important than the business.
Yes, and the thing is, like, I do recognize that some people, recognition, fame, etc., are like the most important things in the world. I do recognize that.
Can I be the one to say that with this build, I kind of felt like it wasn't to build the company?
I didn't feel. I feel the same. However, like, the thing is, like, it's not that I was ignoring that fact. I obviously wasn't stating it outright because that could offend somebody.
Right.
I was very careful to never... I didn't post about the car. I never posted about the business. I never, ever stated publicly that I was the one running Nemo's Garage. Ever.
Right.
I was very careful about that. Because I know how important it was to certain people to have a certain facade. Same with the car. So, I honestly don't know...
My thing with the second build is never easy, like we said. But when you build the first one entirely for yourself, it's always going to come out better.
There's no expectations at that
So
point.
if you then try to build another car to outdo yourself on your first car that you had no expectations on, it's going to be very difficult to top it. Especially when it's not you. It's not solely you putting this car together. You're asking someone to essentially, put a car together, not just physically put it together, but, tell me what you think looks good. Let's
Well, that's the thing. I think that was one thing that made it difficult is
Well, you guys had disagreements about the car too, right? In certain aspects of it.
not disagreements, I think, because I didn't care. That's his personal project. I respected that 100%.
Yeah.
in the sense that there were some things that you thought were going to work or look better or whatnot, and he thought otherwise. Whether it was a disagreement or just
No, it wasn't about personal taste. He asked for my opinion on certain things, like say like wheel and tire sizing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then so naturally I'm expecting one thing, and then when it comes time the night before Weekfest to assemble the car, night before IBOC, whatever, to assemble the car, he went with something completely different. So like, what am I supposed to do at this point? Like I gotta get these wheels fit under these fenders.
Yeah.
Or it was like, no, he actually went with a smaller size tire than what I had recommended, and so it just ended up looking weird, and then we had to improvise to try to make it look like reasonable.
By the way, can I also mention that once again you're asking you're not deliberately going, hey, can you do me a favor? And it's almost like it's even without asking. People are offering their help on this build because you're the one who is behind it.
Yasu, Chiba,
All the Japanese
Christian,
guys, yeah.
all those guys.
So now again, it's like boom.
Dude, they put in like 18 hours of work like the night before. Like they came here to enjoy a show, and instead they're staying up the night before working on this fucking car because I happen to be. I know it's
Did
fucking
they get
insane.
paid for it?
No, of course fucking not.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And then, well, I mean, to also be politically correct, there's also some people or certain people that were involved with the car that didn't necessarily come through in a timely manner either. But that's not the point. But still, I'm sure it created
Well,
some tension.
there was a
people.
reason why we had to assemble the car the night before.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and
we
that
won't go into
obviously,
that.
yeah, it created some tension, I think. So, but anyways, that's what happened with that. But at that point, there was nothing that stood outright that was just like any kind of indication that there was a huge problem or anything.
No,
Yeah.
like I can't like there was absolutely I don't know, maybe I mean I'm
So-
obviously operating from one perspective.
Was this me after IBOC?
Yes, it was. It was after Weekfest.
Yeah, it was right after the week after.
Okay.
So yeah, but there wasn't anything crazy that was going on. Whatever kind of stress or tension there was, I mean, it wasn't a big deal,
It was like normal stress and
Yeah.
tension that we go through every single year.
And then it's also like personality types are different.
I don't
but
think that he
things
was.
work still.
There was an extra amount of stress on him as far as the car getting done either, because I remember going, "Hey,
Well,
when do you need this done by?" And it was kind of like, "Well, I would like to get it done by this time, or I would like to get it done by this time, but if not, it's cool." You know what I mean?
Public perception kind of creates unrealistic expectations too for people. So I think that
Yeah.
maybe he put a lot of pressure on himself, and maybe he expected a lot from it, And
Yeah.
I think from talking to him, that was the case, But it didn't have anything to do with anything that was going on.
I don't know, maybe because I've never actually built a car. Like I don't really get that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things where we've known plenty of people where they built one car, it was super successful and super crazy, and it got all kinds of hype, and then they couldn't repeat the success, and they just stopped building cars after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's a thing, man. Like it's hard to describe, but I've witnessed it. So I don't even think a lot of people realize that that's what happens, So
No, they don't.
yeah, but it's definitely a thing. So
It creates, it creates a problem for people, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. But when you ask the question of like, "Hey, whatever happened to that guy?" or does he do car stuff no more? Or like, whatever. When people go, nah, that guy's not really into cars anymore.
Yeah, it's weird.
A lot of the times it's not because the person just said, hey, you know what? I don't really like this car stuff anymore. I'm going to move on.
Yeah. It's
because they felt like they couldn't live up to whatever persona they had.
Mm-hmm.
They felt like, I built this car for myself. It got a lot of attention. I became such and such person online. I appreciated this attention. I liked it, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to go try to do it again, and I couldn't.
Yeah, you don't want to flop.
Why don't these people just do what they do and enjoy it?
I can't answer that question because I've been asking myself that for years. Like, why does it have to be that? Yeah. Why can't you just be a car guy and be doing car stuff?
I don't know. That makes no sense. Whatever.
Yeah, but anyways, so back to the meet. The meet was successful. We had, like, everyone showed up. Just, like, vendors and stuff were there, and then, everyone had a good time. So.
Yeah. Everyone seemed to have a good time.
I had a great time.
Yeah, I left, I think, maybe like an hour or two before you, because at that point it was like 109.
I left because I was like about to melt.
Yeah.
I was honestly working on the AC, not working on the way home.
Like, to this day, I very much appreciate the fact that you guys came out at all. That's a far fucking drive, and it was like 120 degrees.
It would have been horrible if I hosted it and didn't show up. But I didn't bring a car. I drove a Corolla that had AC, so it was fine.
Oh,
but,
yeah. The battle Corolla.
I didn't have anything to bring. So the meet was fine. And then everyone was kind of chilling inside the shop a lot of times because it was so hot. There was AC,
Yeah.
And then I kind of noticed that it was a little weird that, like, Angel was, like, not really talking to anybody. He showed up with his family and with his kids and stuff. So I was like, oh, well, he's just with his family, So
I didn't catch it because I was talking to Angel about family stuff, nothing else.
Yeah, he just said what's up to me, and then he casually moved on. But Utah said that he noticed the first indication that something was weird was that he couldn't access any of the store. Like,
I walk in and, like, people are already trying to buy stuff, right? Like,
right.
As soon as we open the door, people are like, oh, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Of course, pretty much everybody wanted to buy a sticker, but some people wanted to buy some stuff that we had in stock, dimes, shifter bushing, stuff like that. So I go to charge the first credit card, and I can't log in to the point of sale system. I can't log into the accounting. I can't log into the PayPal account. I can't log into shit. I was like, okay, that's really weird. So I thought maybe something had happened.
Like maybe there was a password breach or something.
Yeah, and then so I thought maybe Angel, like, bumped up the security on it or whatever,
Yeah.
Cool, whatever. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, Angel, I need to get into the system here to, so that we can actually operate as a store. And then he's like, oh yeah, let me log in. I was like, did you change, like, the password on every single one? If you did, can I have it so that I can make sure that Joe can log in too when he gets here? And he's like, no, I'll do it. I'm like, all right, whatever, that's cool. We'll deal with it, after the rush here.
Gotcha.
So I didn't really think about it. The thing is, like, that should have been obvious, but I thought nothing of it. I was like, okay, whatever, we'll figure it out later. We'll bump up the security, whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot going on too, so
it was a busy day.
Yeah, you could have thought that maybe he just changed it because he knew that there was going to be a bunch of people inside the shop or whatever, So
that's what I would have thought.
Yeah. So no one thought anything of it.
So
after at that point, when the meet was winding down, everything was still going pretty smoothly, right?
Yeah, everything was cool. Pretty much everybody left, and then I did the whole walk around the complex and pick up all the trash thing that you do after every meet.
Yeah.
And then after that, went back in the office. I think I was tallying up all the sales for the day, or throwing them in the accounting software or whatever. And then Angel walks in and then got fired. And that was it.
How did that conversation go?
I don't remember.
He didn't give you any specific reason. He just told you it wasn't working out, or what?
Yeah, I think pretty much that's exactly what he said. Okay. He said it's not working out anymore. I was like, okay.
I just don't understand how you fire someone on the day of the meet that you have them put together and you wait till it's over.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, he didn't need me anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, if he didn't want Utah around anymore and he fired Utah, then he would know that I wouldn't be there anymore, and then the meet would be dead. So his whole grand opening thing would have fell apart.
Yeah, but that's kind of fucked up, right?
That's the whole point. Yeah, it was fucked up, and the timing of it. I don't know what kind of I didn't know that Angel didn't have any malicious intent behind it, but the timing of it all is his fuck up on his part. I think that was pretty bad. So
how is that? How is there no malicious intent there?
I think you have to look at it from a perspective that I don't know. I don't think that Angel is a bad person. I don't think he did it maliciously to hurt you in any way. I think that maybe he approached it the wrong way and it was fucked up on his part. So
I mean, but I want to know like what the reasoning is behind it.
Yeah. That's
What was the
we'll never-
reason? Did he tell you?
No, he just said it wasn't working out. So you guys didn't get along or whatever. So
He was never there.
yeah.
I was running a business for him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
But here's my thing.
I didn't sign up to be his personal fucking friend.
It wasn't working out. What part of it was not working out? He
I
asked
don't
someone
know.
to start a business.
I
The business was started. The business was doing well. The business was turning a profit. What part wasn't working out?
That's the question. So he pretty much let you go, and then you came back to the shop that same afternoon, and then
we went to get ice cream.
yeah, I was like, "Hey, how'd it go?" And then you're like, "Oh, I just got fired." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then we went to and then Cream Street had just opened in Cerritos, so we went there.
oh yeah, we got ice cream
Yeah.
because ice cream makes everything feel better.
I don't know, man. I still feel like that was kind of disappointment too. I thought the afters was better.
Yeah. Yeah, that was you just got fired, and then we felt like you kind of took advantage of us. Well, you mainly, but
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, my first thing was like, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just numb, but I didn't feel mad at all. I was like, whatever, it's business. I got fucked. That's my fault.
I remember you not being mad about it, and I was like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, you got fired at the end of the meet."
yeah.
And I was like, you know what, fuck it, dude, whatever. And then it started to like hit me. I think I was like, fuck, dude, I let like everybody down again. Fucking twice in like a 1 year span. Like, how the fuck did I pull this off?
And that's the part I was getting at. Is honestly, I think that's where you.
And then I
upset.
started to get pretty pissed.
Yeah.
And then this motherfucker, no, I'm talking about Angel. He decides that he's gonna send a message to Joey and Yasu.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, can I meet with you guys without Utah present?" And then, I mean, obviously, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen?
Well, you need to give a little bit of backstory on that as well.
I had set up Nemo's Garage as the U.S. distributor for Exceed.
Right.
He wanted to continue that.
Right.
Yasu being Yasu.
But you also, at this point in time, now that you have, I mean, you kind of already were in that role, but you kind of left that role to do the whole Nemo's Garage thing, and now that you're done, you kind of went back to trying to help Exceed on
Yeah.
the U.S. side.
You're facilitating that.
That was what you were in charge of.
That was my job,
So
yes.
Now he's asking if he can
Cut me
sit
out.
down with them and cut you out.
Correct.
Well, Utah's also Yasu's translator, so when Yasu gets a message that's like a giant paragraph in all English, he's
No,
gonna-
it wasn't a giant
That's
paragraph.
like Yasu going, "Sure, I'll sit down with you if you just want to look at each other.
Yeah.
You want to watch me smoke cigarettes. Yeah.
If you want to shoot the shit, I can talk to you in English. But if you want to talk business,
No, I mean, you know Yasu. He
Yasu,
wouldn't.
yeah.
He would have. Like, if the same thing happened, if somebody pulled that shit on Yasu,
that I know. But
And then,
what
yeah.
I'm getting at is it was wrong in so many ways.
it was just fucking
Yeah.
stupid. Like, how fucking dumb are you, dude? It's like, yo, like, by now you've probably heard what happened. You want to cut Utah altogether out of your life and just continue this business thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he was gonna ask if they had sat down with him without you present? Do you think it was gonna be like, look, I want to be the U.S. guy. I want to be the guy to take care of your business here.
Yeah, I think it was be
there
like,
was
hey,
still
dude.
money involved in that whole thing. That's why, right? Is that what was the reasoning behind it? Is it because there was still that chunk of money that was invested in stuff, or what?
What are you talking about?
In product?
Yeah, there was product in stock at Nemo's Garage.
Yeah. And what happened with that stuff? You just bought it back.
I bought it back.
Yeah.
I came up with the money and bought everything back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that was a smart thing to do. So.
Yeah, and that was obviously not the path of least resistance for me, for goddamn sure. Because that was when I think Joe or Angel started to hit me up and they're like, what do you want to do with all this Exceed stuff? Like, they can't sell it kind of thing. So I said, fuck it. I'll buy it back. I'll take this one step fucking further and I'll buy that shit back for what you bought it for. Not a penny less.
Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, that cut off all relations with Exceed. So,
Yeah.
I think that was the right thing to do.
I mean, realistically, yeah. I mean, in a long term, for Yasu's benefit, of course, I mean, it made sense for them to not have that product because they could devalue it super quick.
And like you said, they wouldn't really know how to sell it anyway. So,
They
there was
wouldn't.
no
Like,
direct ties
what
to
the
it.
fuck do they know about driving?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything that I taught Angel, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those things where, you know, like, I think all this time. I mean, they've done a good job with that place after, so it is what it is, and I don't really care what happens in terms of. I mean, they're doing their thing and we're doing our thing over here, so it's completely fine. So
I think my main concern was the fact that I had asked Joe to start working there full time, and I had made a promise to him. So I really wanted to kind of pull through on that. But from what I understand, he's like half owner now. So
yeah, you set him up pretty well. He's doing fine.
I think so. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about that
And then
anymore.
he gets to travel and he gets to see car stuff and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we launched them out of a cannon and then they've maintained so far. So, and they're still on a positive trajectory. So, and then everyone's doing well now. Who cares, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, it is what it is. So, I just
And
thought it would be an interesting thing to talk about because, you know, people don't know anything about the stuff. They don't know what happened to the Civic and everything. So, you know, it's nice to shed some light on it. You know, we're not trying to, like,
I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
yeah,
So.
so we're not telling people to not support them or anything. Like if you ride with them, then that's cool, you know. So I still talk to Joe whenever I see him, and then when I see Angel, we're still very like, you know, civil and stuff, you know.
The only thing I question is if everything's genuine with them. That's the only thing that I'm. For me, it's just like, are you a genuine person or is this all business? I mean, yeah, I work at Rywire, but I feel like I still keep things. It's not always business for me. This is still my hobby, my passion. You know, so when you meet someone that's strictly business, it's like unsettling. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes the shit happens a little bit closer than you'd like for it to. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's always one of those things where you kind of worry about mixing friendships with business and stuff, you know, because things like this happen, man. It's crazy to think that something like this could happen, but it does. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also pretty good at learning things the hard way. So.
Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much been doing that your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sticks. It sticks.
Yeah, so I mean, take it as an experience and then move forward, right? So,
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Shit happens.
Yep.
Shitty people exist. Whatever.
Yeah, so, you know, if people ever wondered why we're just like whatever about it now, you know, that's what happened.
why we never talk about Nemo's grind?
Yeah.
After pushing it hella hard?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess that's an interesting one. So, hope you guys enjoyed listening to Chronicles on Tape.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me again.
Wrap.